This person has been dreaming of you lately, and these aren't just like spicy dreams. These are very like profound or prophetic dreams. With this energy of trust your wisdom and that owl on this card, this feels to be something that relates to like downloads or visions about past lives that the two of you have shared with one another. That like the best way that these images, these moments, these almost like soul memories can transmit to this person is through the dream space. You and this person may be working through some karmic patterns or karmic loops, most specifically in the form of like remembering that this is not the first time that you've encountered one another, remembering your way back home to each other in terms of like a deeper or more profound level of love and connection that is possible, that like in the conscious reality, in the waking reality, this person may at this point in time also be getting these little sort of like flashes, these moments, these kind of memories that are not necessarily their own or not necessarily like relevant from this lifetime, but again tie into these like past lives that they have shared with you as a way for like their soul to be reminded that this is like a significant connection, that whatever they choose to kind of do moving forward between the two of you, it has a ripple effect that it feels like will affect many lifetimes to come. This is something where the two of you have crossed oceans of time to encounter one another, and so there may be certain like delays that are taking place in terms of movement and activity in the 3D sense, because it's almost like this person's higher self and your higher self and your spirit teams and your spirit guides, your ancestors, your angels are in a process of kind of like preparing the two of you energetically and in terms of like and openness. Maybe even this person's had like a third eye activation. And so, kind of strengthening that sense or that ability to kind of comprehend and move through the world, like in the world, but not of the world, using those senses as something that will be very important, very crucial to the nature of like total fulfillment that's possible between the two of you, when it feels like the doors of love open or they get some kind of signal or indicator, or the energies just feel right for them to be able to take steps forward towards you, because this isn't supposed to be like an ordinary love. It's not supposed to be just like a mundane connection or two people that really enjoy each other's company and therefore decide to start dating and get into a partnership or get married potentially. It's almost like fulfilling some sort of covenant, some sort of vow that you had made to one another in a previous lifetime, to always love one another, to find one another again. And so it's this process at this point in time, mostly through dreams, where this person is coming into kind of this space of feeling comfortable with the intensity or even like the otherworldliness of this connection. They may be experiencing a lot of signs and synchronicities as well, in conjunction with you and this connection, and it's causing them to have to kind of like expand their perceptions, expand their mind. There may have been a time when they sort of like fought this, or it was very confusing for them, which is why it feels like their higher self, spirit guides, ancestors, angels, all of that on your side of the equation as well is really working with this person like you're working with one another to come into this place of almost like your souls are merging, and the last thing that happens is like progress within the 3D. So that can be a confirmation as well if you've been feeling like you're getting a lot of dreams about this person, or even sort of dreams where it's like their energy is there or it's very familiar, but it's coming through in the form of like somebody unfamiliar, somebody you've never met before, different sorts of situations and scenarios that feel very out of time, very out of place, and yet that energy is the same. That can be a manifestation of like how this person appeared in a previous lifetime when they were in love with you last, and it feels like that's happening for them as well. Like you're coming to them in dreams as you are in this lifetime. Like they can wake up and say, yeah, I had a dream of that person last night and it felt so real. They're probably feeling your energy like beside them in bed even when they wake up, or like when they go to sleep. Like you're sort of nestling in with one another, even if you're at a distance, because there's a lot happening in the dream space and in the astral realm to prepare the two of you energetically for whatever is meant to happen, or you have the option to make happen in the here and now. But then there are also these reminders that are coming through that are sort of trying to like provide this person reassurance that it is safe to trust in kind of the intensity of this. It is safe to trust in whatever steps they take forward, even if it's kind of clumsy, even if it's something where, there's not like a lot of confidence, or, it's something that is very intense for them, that there's a lot of grace being given to that, because this is almost like a destined person that you were supposed to encounter. Your souls have worked very hard and have traveled through many different kinds of experiences to come to this place in the here and now where there is an opportunity for romance, maybe to make up for lost time, or to actualize a love that was just like a missed opportunity in the past, or something cut short in the past. So there's a lot more going on, it feels like, with this person than just sort of what happens in the here and now. It's almost like different versions of yourselves from other lifetimes, or the energies of that, the memory of that, the ghosts of yourselves even, are kind of gathered around and sort of helping the two of you to nudge one another closer to this place of being able to stand in one another's presence fully, and like look one another in the eye and make a commitment to one another that is not just something that comes from a place of like the wholeness of the heart, but it's like with your whole soul, that you can promise yourselves to one another, or to work towards kind of like bringing this relationship into the fullness of what it can become. We have receive your blessings. So this person definitely sees you as a blessing in their life. There's something where they are, even if they've like taken a step back from you in this connection, or there's been other things like other life circumstances that have pulled you both in opposite directions for a period of time, there's a huge sense of like, I want to get back to you. I want to come home to you. I want to move through whatever this cycle or stage is within our lives personally, or within this connection, that this person is starting to see as like for a greater purpose. This is somebody that's going with the flow and starting to participate with this period of like separation or distance or like minimal contact. They're starting to see that it's very necessary on a certain level, in almost a way that they hadn't perceived before. Like this is redefining in a way this person's concept of free will. Like, yeah, they have the free will choice to participate in this or not participate in this, but there are also aspects of this that feel very inevitable. Like when they have things happen within the dream space, or even if they're starting to get kind of like downloads about this, visions about this, kind of aha moments and epiphanies that are sort of like letting them know or showing them that it has not been like an accidental path to one another, like in this lifetime. All of that is something that is kind of like heightening this person's energy. It's heightening their connection with and their understanding of like their higher self. And the more that they get in tune with that, the more that they see that, yeah, there may be other people that are like spiritual, or, potentially other like past life people that they could encounter, or they could like go out and find. But there's a sense of sort of like, I was always meant to meet you. We were always meant to go through this with one another. Like it feels like something that is to them as well more important than just the here and now. So this is somebody that is trying to kind of like pause within the sacredness of this experience. This is somebody that is listening at this particular point in time. They're listening to their heart. They're listening to their soul. They're listening to their higher self. They're listening to the signs that are given to them through the world around them, through the universe, through different ways in which they may have started to note like information, connection, resonance with you on an energetic level, or even things that are kind of like associated with when they hear from you, or they reach out to you and then certain things happen, or they see certain things. They're starting to understand kind of like there are larger forces at play that are like advocating for this connection. Like the universe is fighting for your souls to be together. The universe is like pushing for the two of you to actualize this love. And it's something that this person is kind of starting to understand, that there is something more powerful than just the dynamic between the two of you. It's almost like allowing this process to sort of take place, like an energetic upgrade, or starting to kind of like incorporate those sort of higher dimensional experiences with you, with whatever they can kind of like have in the 3D sense, or maybe they need to take steps forward and like create more of those things, or receive if you are trying to sort of make effort towards them. There's a sense of almost like this is like a life-changing love. This is the kind of love that helps make the world around us a better place, because it's high vibrational, because it's something that comes from a higher plane and polarity, because it's something that exceeds just this lifetime. It's something that exceeds in many ways their understanding. So this is somebody that is almost like very curious now at this particular point in time. Like they're very excited for when it's like nighttime and when they go to sleep. It feels like they set the intentions now to meet you in the dream space. They may be like astral traveling to you, or there's just been enough of like these kind of profound or prophetic dreams that is helping them to really sort of actively seek to kind of crack into that world, when they're resting their body, when they're in bed, when they're sleeping, when it's nighttime, or daytime. Maybe they work nights and so they're sleeping during the day, whatever that looks like. There's a sense of like, wherever it is my spirit goes, that is the place that I meet you without borders. Wherever it is that my spirit goes, that is the place that I connect with you. And there is this total understanding, there's this total trust, there's this total energy of symbiosis, symmetry, light, alignment. And this is something which is now being understood by them to be a very positive thing. We have hold the connection. So they hold you in a very special place within themselves. It feels like there are aspects about this connection that it's kind of like, it feels like a gift or a treasure, because it's like, I can't talk about these things to other people because people wouldn't understand. It would sound weird. It would sound crazy. It would sound like, well, what are you talking about? This like past life energy, like it would sound very foolish. And so there's almost something that, rather than looking at that as kind of like, ooh, that's a red flag, I ought to just run for the hills as far as this is concerned. It's like this person is sort of recognizing like, this is just a conversation between you and me and the divine. This is just an aspect that is something that is understood between my soul and your soul, and the universe and the powers that be. This is something where it feels like this person, if you're still like in communication with them, if you still have these interactions, they don't know quite how to like speak on this. There's a part of them that's almost like, if I speak on this, is the bubble gonna burst? Is this the kind of thing, like, should we talk about it? It almost feels taboo to them, that it's because it's so like mystical, it's so otherworldly, it's so intense, it's so high vibrational. And there's a sense of almost like, even if they know that you're like into spirituality, or you've talked about things, maybe you've even mentioned past lives, something where it's like, okay, you might understand kind of like the terminology or what it is that I'm having as far as these experiences are concerned. Or if you'd mentioned to them even like, yeah, I dreamed about you, you've given little hints or indicators. There is a fear within them of kind of like, if I speak on this out loud, are you just going to think I'm coming out of left field, and then it's broken between us? Then you're going off in another direction. I'm no longer what you want. So this person is almost learning to kind of hold space for the sacred in a form of reverence inside of themselves. Like this person might have had like an understanding of God, a connection with God, with spirit, with a higher power. But this is something that is different. This is almost like the embodiment of the force of love in a very unique way, that it feels like is kind of their own personal mystery to explore. It's their own sort of treasured understanding. Some of these feelings that they may have, or the images that come through in that dream space or in the download, it's almost like I couldn't put to words to describe what it is. It's almost something that may be so beautiful that it would bring them to tears. It may be something where this person has like very deep emotional experiences, and they might wake up and not even remember the nature of the dreams. They just know that something has been cleared energetically, something has been lifted from them energetically, something has aligned, something has made sense for them energetically, and all they know is it was the two of you connecting in some way, shape, or form while they were asleep. And so this is something that is like they're holding on to that as like as very special, regardless of what the future holds between the two of you. It's like this person sees that you are very unforgettable. You are like the strangest person that they've ever met, the strangest connection that they've ever had, but almost in a way that is helping them to start to perceive things from a higher state of being, or to look inside of themselves and start to ask kind of like bigger questions. Or almost, this could be somebody that is like an overthinker, so it might even be that these experiences sort of calm their need to question, their need to know. Through this kind of connection with you in these higher ways or in that dream space, it's almost bringing them into a place of settling in kind of the knowingness of not knowing, like not needing to sort of figure out why and quantify everything down to the last detail. There's almost like just this degree of surrender that takes place inside of themselves that feels, again, like they have free will in this circumstance, but it's almost like we were destined to meet. It puts so many things to rest that I've been carrying inside of me and with me that I didn't even know I was holding on to, that don't even have anything to do with this lifetime or any experiences that I can think of that might have created almost this weightedness or this heaviness inside of me. But since we have connected, since you have come into my life, so much of that has lifted. This person sees you as like a healer, like your energy is a very healing presence. And this may be something that is not only activating like a protector energy within them, they're very like protective over this experience. They're not wanting people to like mock or judge it. They're not wanting to diminish from what they are sensing as like a sacredness. But you also might be kind of bringing their attention, energetically speaking, and just even in the essence of who you are and how you move through the world, to themselves as a healer. Like however you've approached this situation or honored this person's boundaries as well, or honored the nature of the connection, it's like they see you as a protector. They see you in that embodiment. You're bringing healing to them, even remotely, even from afar, and yet there's a protectiveness. Like, this is ours, not sneaky, secretive, it's just between us, can't tell anyone, but it's like, this is ours. This is not for the world to understand. This is, not even anything that we need to sort of pick apart down to the last detail. It exists within this space that transcends logic and understanding. And that is something that is very rare and very unique for this person, that is really encouraging them to see this connection, this opportunity with you, and whatever the future may hold, as kind of like the biggest blessing, the biggest surprise of their life. Definitely something where you have them on the edge of their seat. You have their full attention. Like, this connection is something which fascinates them. They could be expanding kind of their spiritual knowledge and understanding, but it feels like, again, they're listening, they're taking it all in. This person understands that like the answers to all of this, what it all means, what it is, what comes next, that's not to be found like externally. They're getting a lot of these kind of like answers or pieces falling into place when they are in that aspect of stillness, or when the active mind is kind of silenced and they're in that dream space. That's where that pure receptivity happens. So again, this is somebody that is like setting the intention every night when they go to sleep. I hope that I meet you in dreams, and maybe saying a little prayer, sending you love from afar, kissing you goodnight, even if you're not in the same bed, that kind of thing. So if you've been feeling them a lot, feeling their energy, encountering them in the dream space, this is something that is also experienced by them. It is very conscious on their part. While there may be limits, or your situation is what it is in the material world, this person is taking full advantage of that astral plane where it's like all seems to be well between the two of us. And so that is the place that they gravitate towards in order to connect with you most deeply at this time. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.